Okay, there we go. There we go. So again, we're doing this training on mindset control. All right. Because when you're becoming a trader, you definitely have to have mindset control. So again, let me share my screen. So I really want to ask the chat box. All right. I want to ask the chat box, when you look at this picture, what comes to your mind? Just drop something in the chat. What comes to your mind when you see this picture? Let me just check the chat box. So this is going to be an interactive call, right? I really want you guys to participate. So I see we got virtual reality. All right. Yep. We definitely got the Oculus going on, right? What else? What else? What else comes to your mind when you see something covering somebody's eyes, right? They're looking at something and maybe in a different, they may be looking at something that's not really in a right reality, right? Our current reality, right? I said we got focus, we got locked in, right? They're locked in, not really listening to anything else but exactly what they're focused on, right? So definitely you guys are really naming some things that really, come to your mind when you see this picture. Because when I saw this picture, some of the things that went through my mind is that, whatever I'm seeing, right, and I'm hearing, I'm kind of actually starting to believe what I'm seeing because that's what's in my visual right now, right? So when it came to trading for me, I really had to start to just really focus on the things that I'm looking at, but also focus on what I'm actually hearing, because both of those things play an effect on, what my belief level is, but also, how much I want to actually focus in what I'm actually trying to focus on, right? So that begins with, like, how much you believe what you're looking at, but then you're also starting to listen, which actually bumps up your belief to, this reality. Sorry if you hear it banging in the background, y'all. That's my son. But if you start to just tap into something that you're actually seeing and hearing, you actually start to believe what you're actually seeing. Yikes. It's playtime. So I really like the terms that you guys dropped in the chat. So let me try to get rid of this chat box really quick so I can move on. There we go. So when it, hey, hey, hey. Okay. So the definition of mindset, guys. Hold on. All right. Yeah, this toy wasn't gonna do right now. So when it comes to mindset, right? Mindset control. The definition of that is a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. All right. It influences how you think, how you feel, and behave at any given situation, right? So think about, when you're really thinking about how you're feeling, what you're thinking about, and when you're coming up to certain situations, right? You have to really think of, like, what's going on in that moment, right? What do you actually believe in? What is your perception on what's actually going on in the world and what's around you? That's what we call starting to build that self-awareness, right? You're starting to become aware of certain things that are around you, right? But it also influences, the way how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. And we understand, when you are really trading, right, and you're in that deep thought process of really trying to analyze the charts, you are trying to make sense of this world, right? This Forex world, this digital world, right? Because when it comes to the Forex world, it is definitely different from the real world, right? Can we all agree? Drop a one in the chat, right? Because a lot of people that's on the outside, can't really make sense of, really what we're tapped into, right? Because people look at, they just see colors, they see lines, and they're like, they get scared. All right. So their belief is not what we believe. So what they have, like, what their belief of what the world really is all became from influences from other outside things, right? So when you start to really get influenced by certain things, it affects how you think, it affects how you feel, and affects how you behave. That is why you have to get around certain people. You got to get around certain environments, right, to influence you to be able to make sense of this world, right? Let me know if that makes sense, because we really finna do some mind work today, right? We finna really get deep. So if you got any distractions, all right, I got some distractions going on right here, but I'm tapped in, right? That's how I am in the charts. You have to learn how to block out any outside noise because it can influence and alter your brain to think it's something else than what you should actually be focusing on, right? So there are two types of mindsets. We have a fixed mindset and we have a growth mindset, right? So look at this picture, right? It looks like he's like super focused on this, like, bobbly head, right? Super funny. But it really just shows, if you really focus in on something, you can really, alter what the reality of it could actually be. So this fixed mindset really, shape or shows how people actually really think, right? People who have fixed mindsets, they say either I'm good at it or I'm not, right? I know a lot of, people that are up in age, they're just like really stuck in their ways, right? They're just like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm just like, I'm good with where I'm at, right? But when it comes to learning new things, they're like, you know what? I'm good. That's not something I want to learn. That's just not me, right? That's not me. How many of you guys heard that term? That's just not me. I've heard that so many times, but I'm like, you know what? That just shows me that, you're just in that one mindset. You're not open to a lot of things. So another fixed mindset is that, that's just who I am. I can't change that. But really, you can change at any given moment, right? You're just choosing not to do so, right? And that comes with anything in your life, right? If you want to change like your eating habits, right? If you want to change how you physically look, you can change at any time by working out, right? Just all about the consistency, right? And then if you have to work hard, right? You don't have the ability. I have a perfect example for this because I used to work with an individual, and she used to tell me all the time about how she had this disability, right? She had this disability to where she felt like, you know what, I'm going through this disability and I don't feel like I can do it. And think about the times where people who really have disabilities and can't do the things that they know like the normal person can do, they start to make excuses, right? The disability that she named was that she was dyslexic, right? That's a real disability. But at the same time, if you use that as an excuse on why you can't do certain things all the time, it starts to become an excuse. It starts to feel like you don't even want to try, right? And so that is why you have to constantly be around other people to push yourself harder because you may not be in the right mindset, right? So you have to get around other people to build up your belief level, build yourself up to have the ability to do something that you don't even know that you can possibly do. So if you don't try, then I won't fail, right? If I don't try, I know I'm not going to fail. So no effort needs to be put into that. But in this industry, right, you have to try. After every loss, you have to try again. After every loss, you have to try again. After every loss, you try again because you always know if you try again, that may be the time you win. How many of you guys experienced that in trading where you done lost trades after trade and you like, man, I don't even know if this thing worked for real, right? So many people are winning, but I'm not getting that result. I've experienced that, right? Those were those times where I doubted myself. Those were those times where I started to give myself negative self-talk, right? How many of you guys done that negative self-talk? I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. There's people moving faster than me. Maybe I should have started sooner. I'm too late in the game. Let me not even try no more, right? People really get to that state of mindset to where, if I don't try, I don't have to feel that feeling of failure. But failure is how you actually get to the next level, right? You have to start to unlock the doors. That's what's keeping you locked in. Because until you unbreak those barriers, you are still going to be stuck in that box that might have put yourself in because of outside influences that made you feel a certain type of way. All right. So another last fixed mindset is that, that job position is totally out of my league. How many of you guys experience, being at a job, right? Or if you're currently at a job, you might have been going out for a position and, you just like, you know what? I'll let somebody else take it. Yeah, it's too much work. It's too much work, right? So you got to understand, if you're really trying to go after something, it's going to require some work. You cannot get around the work piece. And that's what a lot of people try to do. I even tried to do that. I tried to rush the process, but that just, kept pushing me more back, right? So literally, if you're trying to go after something that may be, something that you don't even know if you can reach that level, but until you continue to push yourself, that's when you're really going to show that true dedication, that commitment, right? So let's go over to what we call the growth mindset, right? This is where you can say, you know what, I can learn anything I want. Nothing can stop me. I'm unstoppable, right? That's what you got to tell yourself. That's that positive self-talk that you got to tell yourself every single day, every single moment, right? When you're facing a challenge, right? Because you said I can keep it real, right? drop a 1 in the chat, right? If you say I can keep it real. Because literally, when it came to this skill set, I was like, you know what? This might be one of them things that I probably can't do. Yeah, I was like, you know what? This ain't it, sis. This ain't it, bro. But you know what? I kept seeing results. And then the events was really got me, because you guys hear about us talk about events all the time. The events is nothing to play with, because you are going to see somebody that probably went through a worse situation than you learned this skill set. You're going to see somebody that has less qualifications than you learned this skill set. You're going to see people that got disabilities. You're going to see people that, have things that you probably don't have, but learned this skill set. Everyone has their own skill set. You just have to use it, right? Tell yourself that I can learn anything I want at any given time. I just got to work for it, right? How many of you guys are ready to work? Drop some fire in the chat, because this is not going to come without work. And I'm being so serious right now. You see the profits. You want those profits? You have to work for it. This is an equal opportunity. So if I'm going too hard right now, y'all let me know, because I'm that type of coach, right? So then another growth mindset is that, I'm constantly evolving, working in progress, right? So literally, if you're always working, right, you're evolving, right? Because you're trying to improve. And that's where you have to work from you have to work from that place of I'm always progressing, right? They say, like, if you improve 1% a day, you're closer, to, your goals and dreams. So literally, if that's just you watching one video a day, that's close. That's closer to what you did yesterday, right? Maybe you didn't watch a video the day before, but let's just say, you know what? You watch 2 videos a day. All right, now I feel like I'm getting somewhere, right? Because a lot of times I feel like in entrepreneurship, we feel like, we can work, and not feel like we're moving forward. But if you really just think about, I did more than I did yesterday, right? That puts you a little bit more at ease. That puts you a little bit more in relief that, even though I didn't do as much work yesterday, I know tomorrow I got to go in. I know I got to go in tomorrow. I got to put in more work, right? You're always progressing. And then the more you challenge yourself, the smarter you become. Sheesh. If you ain't write that down, I don't know, because that was a gem. The more you challenge yourself, the smarter you become. Like this week, I've been really challenging myself, y'all. I've been reading this book. I suggest you guys really just read it at least once. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I posted it on my social media. And it just really talks about, breaking certain habits, how the brain actually works. But at the end of the day, like, I've been challenging myself to read more pages, because I'm trying to finish this book. Because I heard Les Brown, right? He's a motivational speaker. And he said that he reads 2 books in a week. And I'm like, where do you get the time? Where do you get the time? And so, now I've been really challenging myself to finish this book, because I know I want to read more books, right? Because we know more books, more personal development. is really beneficial, to trading, right? But when it comes to reading this book, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read this book anytime I get the chance to. So literally, I'm looking at the book while feeding my son. I'm looking at this book while literally probably washing dishes or something. Like, that's how much I'm really trying to finish this book. So the more you challenge yourself, the more smarter you're going to become, because that's where you're trying to get to, right? And then you only fail when you stop trying. You only fail when you stop trying. Like I said, I could have been quit. I could have been stopped. I didn't hit my rank. I didn't get my results in trading. I could have been stopped. But I know at the end of the day, if I'm trying to reach a certain level, right, whatever level that may be, I know the only way I can fail is if I stop trying. And if you don't get into that mindset, you really are going to know, like, if anything gets in my way, it can really push me back. It can hold me back because I'm just tired of trying, right? So you got to think about all the obstacles that may have came up in your life that may have been a really big challenge. But you know what? You might have told yourself, I got to get through this. I got to get through this. So one thing that I mentioned before on a couple calls is that, right before an event happened, it was a really rough time. It was a really rough time. I pretty much think this was like last year. That was like when I was going through a lot of stuff. I was going to events on my last, because I'm like, you know what, this is all gonna work out, and whatever. So, right before an event, y'all, I literally was like going through it. I was going through it financially. I was going through it in my relationship. I was going through it, being a mom. Like, so many things was happening to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm really ready to give up. And right before the event, 2 days before the event, Chairman Boot Camp, I hit P6. 2 days before the event, I hit P6, y'all. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know if to be happy or sad, because I didn't know how to handle it, right? Because I was like, you know what, I can lose this at any moment. I was just thinking about all the worst things, right? Because of all the stuff I had going on, instead of just being happy for the progress that I had, right? So literally, also on top of, me hitting P6, right? I also got my car repossessed. Y'all, when I say I could have gave up and not went to that event, y'all, like, when I say the times where you really just like, you know what, I don't even think I can push no more, that's when you have to push. That is when you have to dig deep and push harder, right? Because when I got to that event, right, because I knew I had to be there for my team. I had people coming from different states, right, ready to, all collaborate. So I'm like, you know what? I got to put everything to the side right now, right? I got to put my family to the side. I got to put my finances to the side, my negative account to the side, right? I got to get to this event. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I got there. I got there. And once I got there, guess what happened? I got $500, right? They called on stage, like, who really sacrificed to get here. And I showed them my negative account. And guess what? They gave me $500. That $500, I was able to eat. I was able to give back to Chicago to my son. Y'all got to understand. Y'all got to really understand, like, when you're really going after something, it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take your why, right? Why are you doing this? Because if you don't have a strong why, it's not going to push you. I'm going to just tell you that right now. It's not going to push you. So, last thing on the growth mindset, y'all. That job position looks challenging, but let me apply for it anyway. Let me apply for that challenging job anyway, because guess what? You don't even know that you might get it. You done talked yourself into saying, you know what, maybe I'm not good enough. Or maybe I don't have the right qualifications. Maybe I don't even fit in, right? These are that negative self-talk things that we do that really stop us from really pushing ourselves to get to the next level. Like literally, when I first started doing trainings for the rich family, I did not know how to do a training. I didn't even like public speaking. But when I had to understand this is what I had to do to get to the next level, to hit a rank, it's time to get uncomfortable, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get uncomfortable, or it's time to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? So, when it comes to trading, it is 90% mindset, 10% skill. So, which means you have to work more on your mindset than more on the skill set. Sheesh, that was a gem. You got to work more on your mindset than more on the skill. And how do you work on your mindset, y'all? So, when it comes to your mindset, it plays a critical role in how you cope with life challenges. Because you got to think about if you were a child, right? I see this all the time in my son right now. So, when a child has a growth mindset, they tend to hunger for learning, right? They have a desire to work hard and discover new things, right? My son is literally picking up everything, right? He's putting stuff in his mouth. Oh, what is this? What is this? Right? He's just trying to learn everything, right? So his hunger for learning right now is at an all-time high. That is why we always say high energy equals high income. Because if you're always hungry, for learning, that's when you're really gonna start to see certain breakthroughs, right? You're gonna start to put things together. You're gonna be like, okay, the market do this. All right, when it hit this, boom. All right, I get in right here. When it do this, right? It do the sequence, boom, boom. You start to put things together, right? How many of you guys experienced that? Because I literally have to walk away from the computer when I see something. I'm like, that's what I've been missing. That's exactly the piece that I've been missing, right? It gets exciting. So you got to start to think like a kid again, right? Which means that you have to start to imagine yourself where you want to be before it actually happens, right? Because once it happens, it's going to be game over, right? Once I started profiting with TBX, it's over. Once I started profiting with Forex, it's over. Period. And then this often leads to translation of academic achievements, right? I know you guys, when you see certain traders or certain people in the business, you be like, man, they real smart. Or just how they hold themselves, they may look real smart, right? And that's because they actually did the work, right? They read the books, they watched the videos, they learned from other successful people on how they got successful, right? And it's just that they didn't stop, right? So don't matter where you are right now, just continue to work on where you're trying to go, right? So just like the baby said, don't worry, you got this. And then as adults, right, these same people are more likely to persevere in the face of setbacks. So instead of throwing in the towel, right, adults with growth mindsets view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. So if you lose a trade, go back, analyze it, and see what went wrong, right? Sometimes you might have not done anything wrong. Like the market just does what it wants to do, right? But sometimes there may have been things that affected you during that trade. Think about your environment, right? What was happening around you at that moment, right? Was there the TV on? Was there a loud yelling going on in the background? Was people bothering you, right? How are you feeling? Are you comfortable? Are you in tight clothes? Is it hot? Like what's going on? Because so many things can affect you when you're looking at the market, right? How is your mindset before you actually show up to the charts, right? Are you saying like, hey, it's time to get into this market. I'm ready. I'm confident. Or are you like, all right, here we go with this market again. Let me see if I know what I'm doing. I hope I win a trade today. Like, come on, y'all. Like, right? Like, come on. You got to show up ready, confident, right? And on the other hand, those with fixed mindsets are more likely to give up in the face of a challenge of circumstances. So I've seen a lot of people come in, and as soon as they, lose a trade, they're like, oh, you know what? I'm done. I can't. Nope. I'm not gonna lose no money. but not knowing that money is part of the losing, or losing money is a part of the process, right? You probably just thought you wanted to win a lot and you over leveraged and you didn't know what you're doing, right? There's so many things that possibly could have happened for you to lose that trade. But how you face challenges in your life will also show you how you face challenges in the market. I swear to you guys, if you guys haven't experienced that yet, think about the times where you had the hardest times in your life and you persevered, right? And then you get into the market and you lose a trade. You like, know what? Don't revenge trade, right? We don't want to do revenge trading, but you just show back up more confident for the next trade, right? Because you know that you might have did something wrong. You might have just got in a little bit too early, right? Or you might have just put it too tight of a stop loss, right? And it knocked you out, right? There's so many things that possibly could have, just altered that trade. But how you face that challenge is going to help you face other challenges in your life. Because I'm telling you right now, the things that I've experienced while in this business, I could have gave up. But I am still here today. That is why I'm going to continue to have a testimony, right? Just like how you guys have your own testimony, right? You guys are all catalysts, right, for this skill set. Because if someone can see you do it, that means that they know they can do it, right? So before we get into the last slide, I got a video for you guys. Yep, I found a video. So this video is by TD Jakes and Eric Thomas. So shout out to everybody who got to see Eric Thomas in Atlanta. So go ahead and check out this video. I'll make sure I'll drop it in the chat for you guys to go back and look at it. We won't watch the whole thing, but I want you guys to just kind of just listen to it, and then let me know what you guys think, right? So can you guys see my screen right now? Drop a one if you guys can see my screen. Let me see. Okay, no. All right. So let me see. All right, let's see. Okay, bet. So let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay, bet. All right, let's go.
I'm tougher through everything I went through. They love you as long as you stay on a certain level.
Right. That the bigger your dream is, the earlier you're going to have to get up. The longer you're going to have to stay up. The bigger your dream is, the more effort you're going to have to put in. I'm telling you to dream your dream because I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it.
I almost quit. Everybody attacks you first and figures you out later. I wanted to be effective, not famous. Famous is the consequences of being effective. I didn't know nothing about being famous and I didn't like it. I preached the place was on fire, but inside I wanted to quit. And the first time I was in the Washington Post, the article was so vicious it made me nauseous. So I decided I don't want this. So I was mad inside. I was hurt and sulk in my own sorrows. And they said, there's a lady downstairs waiting to see you. The service was over and the fellowship was over. The pastor was starting to leave. I was trying to outwait her. And when I finally came down the steps, she was there. And she was just a willowy bit of a woman. And she said, Bishop Jakes, she said, I've been in the hospital. And she said, the only thing that kept me alive was hearing you preach. She said, if you hadn't been preaching to me every day, I swear I would have died. It hit me so hard. I got in the car and cried all the way back to my room. If it were not for that woman.
Your mind is the most important thing you have, and you got to control it. You got to control it. I don't care what's happening. You have to control it. Skill is the only way you guys become successful. Where I come from, we use will too.
I fought my way up. I fought to get to work. I fought to get up on my feet. I fought to stand. I fought to carry on. I fought to love. I fought to live. I fought to get out the bed. I fought with my fears, my doubts, my anxieties, my insecurities. I fought with haters, liars, backbiters and betrayers. I even had to fight with family, and many times I laid laid in the bed. I couldn't go to sleep because I was fighting with myself.
And when that thing tells you to quit, you look at it in his eye and say, I ain't going nowhere. I will break you before you break me. You will not defeat me. You will not destroy me. Some of you are so ignorant. You've been through so much hell. You gonna quit now? You should have quit 10 years ago. You don't quit now. It's the 10th round. You got 2 more to go. And when you get to success, it's not about skill. When you get to a certain level of success, it's about stamina. It's about stamina. It's about you won't break me. You can't take me. I fought too long. I fought too hard. Not phenomenally skilled, but phenomenally will. I will not give up. I will not surrender. I will not quit. And your problem is you give it up too easy. I need effort.
All right. Sheesh, that video, I swear, you will get in mode if you watch this video every single day. Let me drop this in the chat for y'all because it was finna get deep. It was finna get deep. I just want to give y'all a snippet of that because, man, we already know Eric Thomas go in, but then I really want you guys to just let me know your thoughts like on that. Like, how did that make you feel, right? We talk about mindset. We talk about controlling the things that, you know, are on our external world that affects our inner world, right? All of those things can, you know, alter like you from putting in the effort to getting better, right? And one thing that TD Jakes pointed out was, you know, he said, he was like, you know what? There was a lady that, you know, who said, like, if I didn't stop or if I stopped preaching, I would have died. And you don't really understand that, you know, people really need this skill set, but also at the same time, if they see you do it, that gives them the motivation that they can do it, right? That gives them that belief that something is possible, right? And so like that lady, she was like, you know what, if it wasn't for your voice, I probably would have died because that's what's been keeping me going. So when I say I am honored to give trainings like this, is because I understand that there's an impact that needs to happen and someone new needs to step up. All right. So this is you guys' time to really dig deep on why you're actually doing this, right? So let me just show you guys the last slide before we get off this call, because how to actually start to develop this type of mindset is that you got to do personal development, guys. Like, you cannot steer away from personal development, right? You need to exercise your brain to the point where you know that, you know what, my head is starting to hurt because I've been working my brain so hard, right? How many of you guys experience like, you know, you got to take a break from looking at the charts, right? I remember Stevenson Lindor said, you know, you got to get to the point where your eyes are bleeding charts. I go to sleep on charts. I fall asleep to the charts, y'all. Like, how bad do you want it? Come on, I know you guys have been seeing Josh drop the profits. I know you guys have been seeing Tobias drop the profits, right? Some of our really great leaders are really showing you, like, you know what, to get these profits, you got to put in work. But everybody is not going to have the same time. Everybody's life is not going to be the same. So you got to work with what you got, right? And you got to start to develop discipline. So this was probably one of the hardest things for me to learn, right? Because I was not disciplined. I'm like, you know what? I need this money right now. I got things to do, right? But that caused me to not think straight because I'm thinking emotionally. You cannot show up to the charts with emotions. So you have to start to develop the discipline of, like, you know what? I'm only going to risk this much. I'm only going to take this many trades, right? And this is going to be how much I'm trying to go for today, right? Be disciplined. Stay to your trading plan. So many times I step outside my trading plan just because I'm so caught up, you know, in the profits, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you don't want to get into over trading. And then, like I said, read books, right? Think and Grow Rich. Break the Habit of Being Yourself. That's probably one of my favorite books right now. But a lot of books that, you know, a lot of successful people read are all helpful, right? You just read one and it's going to continue to make you want to read more, right? Because all it is just stories, right? You got to constantly see stories in order for you to start to develop your own story. And you got to start to develop that confidence, right? Confidence was another challenging thing for me because again, you step into this space of high energy, and you may not have that energy coming in, right? Because you might be coming from a low frequency environment, right? Or you might be coming from that 9 to 5 that you're trying to escape, and you're coming to this like, dang, this is more work, right? Or you might just be too tired because of the kids, right? But if you know your why at the end of the day, right, and then you start to make profits, you're like, man, all right, it was worth it. The sacrifices was worth it. You making profits, now my confidence is starting to pick up, right? And maybe you just needed to just do the work, right? You just had to look deep within yourself, work on yourself, because the areas that you want to improve on your life, right, that's going to help you build more confidence, right? And then you're going to start to attract certain people. People going to be looking at you like, what you doing? I'm working on myself. And then, just continue to focus on just getting better, right? No one's trying to be perfect here, right? This is not a perfect market. So why should we be perfect? So avoid blaming others, right? Because no one made you click that button. No one, told you to take the trade. You just wanted to take the trade because you understood that, hey, I might win, right? But when you lose, you just self-reflect, right? What happened? Why I lost, right? Was it me? Was it the market? Just figure it out. And then, keep a trading journal is good because you get to just, look at the history, and you get to see that you're getting better. And then like I said, become emotionless, right? You don't want to show up with emotions. I used to say on my session all the time, don't come on my session if you just got into an argument with your baby daddy, baby mama, right? Because you're not in the right mindset. So start to just become emotionless. And I've really been practicing this, especially with meditation. Meditation is just, starting to get on a state of being where, you're just zoned in, right? You're just focused on one thing. And you can practice that, right? You can practice that by just focusing on just washing dishes, right? Yeah, here you go. On my phone. Okay. So you can focus on just washing dishes, doing one thing at a time, right? Because sometimes our brain is everywhere and we're trying to do so many things at one time. But if you just focus on getting one thing done, check it off the list, right? And that's how you got to come up to trading. Just focus on the chart, focus on the trade that you're analyzing, and become emotionless. Like, you know what? I know how much I'm going to lose if I lose this trade. If I win this trade, I know how much I'm going to win. Simple. And then you got to try to change your perspective on things, right? And that's why you got to continue to get on trainings to hear different perspectives, right? And so you guys see this picture right here, right? It says, it's my money and I need it now. And you see he's very angry. Yeah, you don't want to be angry trying to get your money. You want to be relaxed. You're going to be like, let the money come to you, right? Don't chase the money. Let the money come to you. So I hope you guys seen value in this training. Let me know if you guys received value. I hope I was able to just unlock some doors for you guys on just my personal experiences. Because at the end of the day, I'm learning every single day. I'm learning from a lot of you guys because I'm always a student. I never feel like I'm better than anybody. So at the end of the day, you guys, you can do anything that you want to do, right? You got to continue to push yourself, and you got to continue to dig deep on why you're actually doing this, right? So again, I hope you guys received a lot of value. Go ahead and shout me out on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Again, I don't get paid to do these trainings. I just get paid to impact, right? So literally, we got a call coming up in the next hour, guys. So make sure that you guys get on the call. Phenomenal leaders, right? Going to be giving the people's the sauce, right? So literally, get your guests on there. Let them know what you're a part of. Let them know that you get access to phenomenal people, awesome trainings that's helping you really improve your life, right? And I believe we do have some go live sessions that are going to be popping off too. So make sure that you guys are tapping into go live, right? Get your education, get your skill set training. So guys, I'm out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this training, and I will see you guys later.